4 Jamaican men are in hot water. They are accused of running a lottery scam. They operated from Baldwin County, Alabama. Their targets were elderly people across the United States. The scammers told victims they won a sweepstakes. But there was a catch. Victims had to pay fees to get their winnings. It was all a lie. The scam was lucrative. The men stole over $200,000. Victims were spread across the country. The Gulf Coast was hit particularly hard. The scammers preyed on the elderly. This group is especially vulnerable to these types of scams. The scammers knew this. They exploited it. The scammers were brazen. They contacted victims by phone. They told them about their winnings, then they demanded money. They told victims to send it via FedEx. They said it was for taxes or fees. It was a classic con. The scammers thought they were clever. They were wrong. The FBI was on their tail. They were arrested in Foley, Alabama. Their reign of deception was over. The scammers were smooth operators. They knew how to gain the trust of their victims. They often posed as representatives from legitimate organizations. They used official-sounding names. They might even have used fake websites. The scammers would contact their victims. They usually did this by phone. They would tell the victim they had won a large sum of money. This was exciting news, especially for vulnerable people. The scammers would then create a sense of urgency. They would say the victim had to act fast to claim their prize. The scammers would then ask for money. They would say it was for taxes, fees, or other expenses. They would pressure the victim to pay immediately. They would threaten to cancel the prize if they didn't. The victims, blinded by the promise of riches, would often comply. The scammers would then disappear. They would take the money and run, leaving their victims empty-handed and heartbroken. These scams are devastating. They prey on the hopes and dreams of vulnerable people. The scammers thought they were home free. They were wrong. FedEx became suspicious. They flagged around 90 packages. The packages were suspicious. They were intercepted between April 2020 and February 2023. Some contained cash. Others contained checks. The FBI got involved. They investigated the case. They gathered evidence. They tracked down the scammers. The scammers were arrested. They were charged with wire fraud and conspiracy to commit wire fraud. They face serious prison time. If convicted, they could spend up to 20 years behind bars. The arrests are a victory. They are a victory for law enforcement. They are a victory for the victims. But the fight against scams continues. The elderly are often targeted by scammers. They are seen as easy prey. They may be more trusting. They may be less likely to report a scam. They may be more likely to have savings. It's despicable. We need to protect our seniors. We need to educate them about scams. We need to teach them how to spot the signs. We need to encourage them to report any suspicious activity. The Better Business Bureau can help. They offer tips on avoiding scams. They provide information on how to report scams. They are a valuable resource. The BBBB estimates that seniors lose over $3 billion annually to scams. This is unacceptable. We need to do more to protect our seniors. We need to stop these scammers in their tracks.